What's going on, everybody? Jeff Holiday here, and today I have a little bit of a special treat for you. This young lady decided to cross my radar not that long ago. Her name is Rachel Seller, and I'm just gonna let her tell you who she is. So just.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Seller and I'm a registered nurse. My specialty is forensic nursing. I expose medical crime one misdiagnosis at a time. I help people discover the root cause of disease. I'm also a holistic nurse, so I specialize in all things natural medicine, integrative and functional medicine. Today I have a very important message for you about vaccines containing MRC5 cell line. This is an urgent message, but before I go into it, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. When I graduated high school, I joined the United States Navy and I became a hospital corpsman. I remember injecting newborn babies with vitamin K and hepatitis B vaccine. I was 18 years old. At the time, I really didn't quite understand what I was doing. Looking back now, I also remember people leaving from boot camp on crutches after receiving hepatitis B vaccine. What we now know about vaccines is they are genetically modified organisms. They are made in a lab. They are using aborted human fetal cells.
I think we'll start there. Rachel here is a rare example, and you don't usually get to see this too often in the anti-vax camp, but she is somebody who has legit credentials. 100%. She did start out in the Navy as a corpsman, or as a medic, and then went and got registered as a nurse. She is a legit nurse, with all the qualifications that come from that. Unfortunately, that's not where Rachel decided to stay. Rachel then decided to start going towards getting a naturopathic doctor degree, which she hasn't gotten yet. It's only third year. Doesn't take that long to get one either. Actually, Rachel, if you're interested when you finally watch this, if you'll privately message me, I know a place you could just buy one for like $500. You can get an ND. Like, just, hit me up. I'll hook you up, girl. But she is also, as it turns out, an ordained minister. So not only does she fight disease with the power of pseudoscience, but also with her faith. And you'll see some examples of that later on in this video. For now, tell us all about it there, Rachel.
I also want to tell you that my brother, who's 18 years old, was vaccine injured. He went paralyzed from waist down after a flu shot, and none of the doctors knew what was wrong with him. He was also born with Down syndrome. So all these things compiled was very devastating for the family. And I will tell you today that these vaccines that they are making, the only thing I can think of is calling it witchcraft, medical sorcery. This is vaccine sorcery because the MRC5 cell line is actually using aborted human fetal tissue.
That doesn't sound like sorcery. Sorcery, to me, would be like, well, they're using magic spells, sacred rites, cast in the rune stones. Like, if they're using aborted fetal tissue, which they're not at all, that's not what that is, but if they were, that would sound more like mad science than it would witchcraft or sorcery. Boogity boogity boo. I don't know.
This fetal tissue has been around since the 1960s, and I want to teach you how to read medical literature like a pro. Every vaccine insert that contains MRC5 cell line has an insert, and on that insert it will say MRC5. The most concerning thing to me is healthcare professionals, I don't think that all of them fully understand what they're injecting. The most important message that I can tell anyone is doctors, nurses, pharmacists especially, know what you're injecting into people. An MRC5 cell line contains aborted human fetal tissue from the 1960s.
They know, okay? They know. Now, for those of you out there who have not been in the front lines of the anti-vax versus pro-vax war, let me clue you in on what she's talking. The MRC5 cell line comes from the tissues from an aborted fetus in the 60s. Yeah, that's 100% true. One fetus. I think in total of all the ones that we use in any of those biomedical technology towards vaccines, I think there's like 2 fetuses, 2 different distinct cell lines that we use commonly. Now, the basis behind this is that these are replicated cells from the same piece of tissue. There is no aborted baby fetus in your vaccines. She just says that because it sounds spooky, and because if she said, like, well, this is actually a really cool technology where we managed to figure out a way to just replicate and keep growing this cell line that's really beneficial and useful towards biomedical technology, that wouldn't make you afraid of vaccines. And that is what she is trying to do. The grift doesn't work if you can't sell the grift in the way that you want it to be sold. That's how this whole thing works.
The important thing to know about it is that it is an immortalized cell line. That means continuous. Anything that divides continuously is an abnormal cell. That is cancer. The other word that is really important to know is diploid.
Whoa. Okay. Hang on a second. The basic logic that she's trying to use here is unmitigated cell growth, which is what a tumor is the same thing as tissues that we have intentionally replicated in a lab. Okay, first of all, no, that doesn't make sense at all. But if that kind of logic actually worked anyway, we would all have brain cancer right now. Because there are very specifically some neurons that we believe is related to memory in our brains that continue to replicate forever. So what? Do we all have brain cancer? I mean, that's how it's designed, and as we'll learn, she fully believes that there's a magic sky leopard in the sky with a big drawing board that designed our bodies. So he must have designed our bodies with automatic brain cancer, right from conception. Okay.
Human diploid cells. That is human fetal tissue. Okay. Some of the vaccines that contain MRC5 cell line are the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, Varivax, chickenpox, hepatitis A and B, Twinrix, and the poliovax. The important thing to know also is that Dr. Andrew Wakefield said we are living on a virgin soil.
Excuse me, what? What did you say, Dr. Wakefield? I think you mean Mr. Wakefield. Mr. Wakefield doesn't have a license to practice anymore, so you can just drop that doctor bullshit right there. Thank you. Now that's probably enough to get you pretty much clued into who Rachel Sellers is and how she's trying to enter into the usual grift. But here's the thing. I have a few theories. I believe that Rachel is being kind of groomed to be one of the next big anti-vax superstars. In fact, I would almost go to say there's a chance she might be in Vax 2. Maybe. We'll see when it comes out. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But she references Vax quite a bit. She references also the truth about cancer. This is all people who are part of the propaganda machine. They all cross-reference each other. They all constantly promote each other and put each other out there. And she's aggressively trying to make a name for herself. Now, she's setting herself apart a little bit from the rest of the gang by putting out a video like this.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Seller. I'm a registered nurse. My specialty is forensic nursing. I help people expose medical crimes one misdiagnosis at a time. I help people find the root cause of disease. I also expose government and scientific propaganda.
Ooh, expose me,
I'm
mommy.
also a holistic nurse. My specialty is natural medicine. I help people find ways to reverse diseases naturally and find the most sophisticated practitioners. Today I have a very important message for you about vaccines, and I'd like to give you the biblical perspective. There is no debate when it comes to vaccines. All the facts are there, all the evidence is there. All you need to do is read the literature. Everything is in here. The truth about vaccines.
Man, they sure do love that. Read the literature. Do your own research. Blah, 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 blah. It's you know what always gets me about this, too? Just as an aside, anti-vaxxers are always doing this thing where they're like, you need to go read the insert. Well, the inserts are written by the people who make the vaccines, who design the vaccines. If this is some global conspiracy where they're trying to, hide and suppress the information, why then would you, anti-vaxxers, read the propaganda put out by the very monsters that are trying to fill your bodies full of satanic nanotech? Why would you do that? Why? I don't get this argument. I don't understand. I've been trying to wrap my head around this for like 3 or 4 years now. Can anybody help me, please?
The truth about vaccines is that they are made with cancer cells. They are genetically modified. This is a report from the CDC from 2015. And the report says the CDC admits 98 million Americans were given cancer virus via the polio shot.
Cancer virus.
It isn't just the polio shot.
Cancer virus.
It's the genetically modified cell lines that they use from aborted human fetuses.
Call me crazy, but I don't think that the CDC actually ever wrote the words cancer virus. I'm betting that they did not. Just throwing it out there.
I want to get right into the Bible and give you a different perspective on vaccines.
Okay, this is how we're gonna do this because I want you to just listen to what she has to say and think if you can find some way that this pertains to vaccines. Okay, like here's the first one.
So Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3. Call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things that you do not know.
What the hell does that have to do with vaccines?
Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 17. For Christ did not send me to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with words of human wisdom, lest the cross be emptied of its power.
Oh, okay. Am I missing something?
Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophies, which depend on human tradition and the basic principles of this world, rather than Christ.
Okay, look, this needs to cease. I don't know how some book supposedly written hundreds, thousands of years ago by multiple people somehow has a firm position on vaccine technology. I mean, we've only had vaccine technology for, what is it, like less than 300 years or something like that? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me at all.
I don't know about you, but when the Bible says to preach the gospel, heal the sick, and cast out demons, what I do know is that we have a lying spirit. We have the CDC and the FDA that is lying to the people. It is an enemy of the public.
The CDC, the FDA, lying spirits, man. There's that evil witchcraft, man. They're coming to get you. Wow, this is beautiful. Keep going.
They are lying and they are spreading scientific and government propaganda, but this is an age-old weapon. This is nothing new. This has been going on since the Holocaust time. Since the 1960s, the polio vaccine was known to contain MRC5 cell line, which is made from aborted human fetus grown in a monkey kidney, and it's cancer cells. It's genetically modified. So they're rewriting the human genome. So I want to ask you this.
You know, I want to ask you guys this. I know, like, a doctor can lose his medical license to practice if he espouses some really dangerous ideas. Can a nurse lose her license to practice as well? Because, like, this is some deeply dark, troubling shit. Like, she doesn't even know what constitutes a cancer cell. Or she thinks that, like, mainstream doctors are idiots, and that she alone, because she's read the propaganda put out by the evil spirit Satanists themselves. Like, I wouldn't trust this woman to vaccinate, like, a rabbit. You know, I wouldn't trust this woman to drive at this point. Like, what the fuck, man?
There's only one divine sequence to your DNA. You were created by an intelligent designer.
Oh, no.
Anyone who tries to modify that is counterfeit. Are you wearing counterfeit genes? Counterfeit DNA is what's in vaccines. When you inject your...
Counterfeit DNA is inside vaccines. Counterfeit DNA is in vaccines. Oof. What a gem.
Let's go on to 2 Thessalonians.
Oh, no, not another one.
This one.
Dude.
No, not that one.
Take your time. Take your time. It's fine. It's always a good idea to put a noisy book right in front of your microphone.
2 Chapter 2, verse 16 through 17. That's a good one. Avoid godless chatter, because those who indulge in it will become more and more ungodly. Their teachings will spread like gangrene. I don't know about you, but I see a lot of cancer and autoimmune disease. Our population is sick.
Couldn't I make the case, though, at this point, that, like, godless chatter might be something that is born out of ignorance, born out of a lie, like, you know, things like the movie Vaxxed and the entire anti-vax propaganda, and that it can lead to outright evil, what I think most Christians, like her, would consider evil, such as the unnecessary suffering and potential death of children. One might say that perhaps, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 16 and 17, are actually saying that maybe people should stop listening to you, Rachel, because you're a massive, flaming, fucking idiot. But that's just my interpretation of the Lord's word, okay?
I wanted to just give this quick message today and give you a different perspective, the biblical perspective. There's only one truth when it comes to vaccines. The truth about vaccines is that they are bioweapons. They cause cancer. They cause autoimmune disease because they are made with cancer cells. The movie Vaxxed, the cover-up to catastrophe, the CDC was exposed for hiding information about autism and MMR causing autism.
Wow. Okay, so the CDC was exposed by a crappy documentary, and a bunch of people who either have no right talking about what they were talking about, or somebody who legit lost his ability to practice because he did such unethical, shitty things. Wow, I could never quite figure out why the CDC didn't exist anymore. Why it was a shambling ruin, a smoking wreck. Man, because you know, the CDC sure has been destroyed with facts and logic.
Ladies and gentlemen, my community, my fellow nurses, pharmacists, doctors, please read the vaccine inserts. Know the truth. You know it in your heart. Please stand up for the truth. Speak the truth and defend the people that you are entrusted to care for. Because someone asked me, well, how can a healthcare provider not give vaccines? They'll lose their job. Well, in my opinion, you shouldn't be a healthcare provider if you're not willing to stand up and speak the truth. And we need more people.
And there it is. And this is why I think this woman might actually get in trouble for this, because she is actively and aggressively advocating for doctors and nurses and all healthcare professionals to not vaccinate. That is her intended action to occur. And she said it herself. I think this woman can actually get in trouble for this. And she probably should, because this is some bad shit, dude.
People to speak the truth. I know so many doctors and so many nurses who are living in bondage because they are afraid to speak out. What is so hard about speaking out the truth? I understand people have, livelihoods and jobs, but we have to stand up for our community. For these are our patients, our people. These are God's people that we're entrusted to care for, and we cannot deceive them any longer.
Especially if we've got a ball gag in our mouth. And no, I'm sorry. I'll just stop right there. Whoo boy.
So, I'm Rachel Seller, the forensic nurse. I just wanted to bring you this biblical perspective on vaccines. I do not defile my temple. The Holy Spirit lives in me. I have salvation through Jesus Christ. And God has blessed me with wisdom. God has blessed me with many gifts.
Hang on a second. You do not defile your temple, and God has blessed you with many gifts. Well, excuse me, Rachel, what was this you said in another video about breast implants?
And insurance doesn't pay for this kind of stuff. We're talking about integrative care, the cutting edge stuff that's the environmental stuff. So breast implants, for example, if you have saline breast implants, there's a good chance that those valves are leaking if you've had them for quite a long time. Like I've had mine for 8 years and they're coming out.
I see. Okay, so your body is a temple and you will not defile it except with toxic booby bags. And God bless you with many gifts except for, I guess, an ample rack. I mean, anyway, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. I hope you appreciated that. It's rare that we get to catch them so early into their career, but here we go, a new example for us to point and give on why these people are legitimately damn dangerous. And I'm very interested to see what happens to Rachel Seller's career as we move forward. I'll be keeping my eye on her, and I hope you will too. From my family dears, I hope you guys are well. I will see you next time. You take care. Bye-bye, everybody.